Welcome to the Total Soccer Show. It's Friday, which can mean only one thing. It's time for The Weekender, the show where we preview some big matches coming up this weekend. We're also going to take a look at the USMNT roster that dropped this week, and we wrap things up with a little old quiz. Can't hardly wait. My name's Ryan Bailey. Joining me today, Quizmaster extraordinaire Taylor Rockwell. Hello, Taylor.
Hello, Ryan Bailey. I am putting on a brave face, even if I can't pronounce your name. Jonathan Klinsmann not in this roster. I don't even know what we're doing anymore, but I'll do my best with this episode. Good to be here.
It's a real strike for nepotism. I'm quite unhappy with it myself, Taylor. You're right. We will rebuild. Graham Ruthven, how are you?
I'm very well. Ryan Bailey, looking forward to the weekend. What have you got planned for the weekend? Are you planning on watching the Wombles of Wimbers against Blackpool this weekend? They were on Sky Sports News today. I hadn't quite clocked. Flying high in League One. Sixth in League One, actually in good form right now. So are you dreaming of the Champo quite yet?
Not getting too excited, Graham, because I've been burned before by a good start to the season by an AFC Wimbledon team that slowly gets torn apart and sells its best players and gets lots of injuries. So I will just say, yeah, I'm fairly happy with how things are going. But
not that you've got any scar tissue or anything like that.
No. It's all sunshine in the rear view for Wimbledon and its fans historically. Joe Lowery, hello.
Hey, Ryan, I'm happy to hear Wimbledon's form as well. I just like it when Graham says Wambi, Wimby, whatever it was that he said. That makes me happy. We should do more of that.
I think John Green, the author and philanthropist for AFC Wimbledon fans, calls them the Wimbly Womblies, does he not?
I like that.
He's charming.
That's why he's a writer.
We love him. He buys our players for us. It's great.
That's true.
Very good. All right. Plenty of weekend action to come up in the next half hour, 40 minutes or so. Before we get there, patreon.com/Total Soccer Show is the best way to support us. If you'd like to do so, you'll get bonus episodes, you'll get bonus video content, and access to our Discord server. All the cool kids are hanging out there. Come join them. Come have a chat with us in our Discord. It's a lot of fun. Patreon.com/Total Soccer Show. All right, let's kick off this ep. We're each going to go around the horn here and highlight a game from this weekend we're excited to see. Taylor Rockwell, would you like to kick us off with aforementioned game you're excited to see this weekend?
I would. I think I've gone maybe the hipster's choice of the options, although maybe Joe has that market corner.
We'll see.
Honestly, a lot of this is because I did the quiz and it related to a lot of the games happening this weekend. And so I went FC Porto Benfica instead because it's a really fascinating one. FC Porto unbeaten so far in their league campaign. 7 games, 7 wins, 18 goals for, 1 against. Bayern Munich numbers right there. They will be without their 19-year-old right back, Martim Fernandes, who is suspended due to a red card. Luke de Jong, I believe, is still out with injury. Aside from that, they're going to be pretty strong, and they're going against Benfica, who are third. 5 wins, 2 draws. Jose Mourinho fully ensconced now. 3 league games in charge, now 4 games in total. 2 wins and a draw. The Chelsea game did not inspire confidence. However, I don't think that's why Benfica brought him in necessarily. I think it's a bonus to go far in the Champions League, but I think contesting the Portuguese title is what Benfica want to be doing, and Jose Mourinho is meant to be helping them do that. So I think this will be a game where he can sort of establish that credibility, or questions start to get asked if they're blown out of the water by FC Porto. And really anything seems possible. I think it could be a comprehensive victory for Porto, who again are at home. It could be a really, really resilient and hard-fought 1-0 win for Benfica. It could be a draw, certainly, but I think it leaves a lot of possibilities and a lot of reasons for interest this weekend.
Wonderful stuff. Looking forward to that one, Taylor. Paramount, is that where we watch Portuguese Liga these days? I think it is, right?
Could be. Maybe it's FIFA Plus. I forget what Graham, his subscription limit is. Graham, can you let us know?
Yeah, there's only a certain number of accounts on there, and what Ryan is keeping secret here is he's actually on the FIFA Plus train, the hype train with me. So he's watching even more of the Botswana Premier League than I am. So
and that's a high mark to clear, frankly, Ryan. Proud of you for that.
That would imply that FIFA Plus has 2 subscribers. I'm not sure it has. So I think it's just you.
Well, you're on Graham's account. Like you're a different user on Graham's account.
Yeah.
What I will say, a lot of subscribers. They're just mostly bots, and then Graham Ruthven
and Saltby.
What I will say about this game is that I love that you highlighted this one, Taylor. I have not caught either of these teams this year. I've not seen Porto since the Club World Cup. Samu is like about as close to must watch as they come. Frankly, especially playing in Portugal, we've seen how dominant singular strikers can be, in the Portuguese top flight. We saw it with Victor Gyökeres last year. We saw it even with Samu, with Porto last year. But the dude is a tank. He is incredibly quick for his size. He is so much fun to watch. I loved watching him a little bit towards the end of last season, and a little bit with Spain, a little bit at the Club World Cup. He is like just a superstar, at least in his context. Whether that will translate, I don't know. Does it need to? We don't always need to look forward. But that is a great shout from you, Taylor. Those are two fun teams with some really interesting players.
He is a great player. I very much enjoy watching him as well. And if Porto do beat Benfica this weekend, Benfica shouldn't worry too much because Francesco Farioli is the Porto manager. And of course, he was the manager of Ajax last season as they conceded whatever it was, like their 15-point lead with 3 games to go. So even if Porto are miles ahead, Benfica can still count on that trophy coming their way, I think.
There we go. Competitive league in Portugal incoming. Look forward to it. I, for one, this weekend are looking forward to tuning into CBS Sports on Sunday at 2:45 for Juventus versus Milan. First versus fourth, just a point between these two sides. At the moment, Juve is undefeated. They had that Wednesday night trip to Spain that we mentioned on Thursday's show. They've had a short week of prep, of course, because of that Villarreal game. They've drawn their last 4 games, have Juventus, by the way. A 1-1 draw in the league last week with Atalanta as well. It's in interesting times there. Igor Tudor has them in that 3-4-2-1 that he loves. Dusan Vlahovic leading the line. Not necessarily a happy marriage there. If you've been following the transfer market, you may notice that he might have wanted away. They might have wanted him away as well. But obviously a very talented Juve team we've got this season with Kenan Yildiz shining, Jonathan David, Weston McKennie, of course, still getting minutes on the reg as well. And this team had a terrific win over in the Derby d'Italia a few weeks back, that 4-3 win as well. So we know they are capable of entertainment. This is arguably a bigger test for Juve than the Derby d'Italia, which sounds like a thing you wouldn't have said before this season started. Milan are leading the league. We saw them take down reigning champions Napoli last weekend. And whereas Juve have had that short week with the Champions League, no European soccer to worry about for Milan. A very good advantage for them, not just in this game, but all season long as well. They have started the season brilliantly. Mark and Kelly's kids doing fantastically as well. Christian Pulisic, that is. Obviously with the goals and assists pouring in recent games. I'm not going to stop doing that.
That's so good.
On paper, Allegri versus Tudor doesn't sound like rock and roll, action-packed swashbuckling. Correct. But I think it will be. I think we've got the ingredients here. I'm hoping we're not going to see a ground-out 0-0 draw in this game. Hopefully some goals in Juve versus Milan this weekend. Looking forward to it.
I like it. We weren't going to see that until you jinxed it, of course.
Yeah, may have done. Oh, well. Is what it is. There we go.
I think if Milan come out of that game with a win after beating Napoli, that is like a real combined statement between the two games. They have been a lot better than I expected them to be to start the season. And also just like Allegri was a manager towards the end of his time at Juve I had thoroughly had enough of. Like I think it was a bit for me and maybe all of us towards the end of his time at Juve. And he seems rejuvenated and his football hasn't quite been as dull to start the season. That might just be because he's got better attacking players. He's got Christian Pulisic, he's got Rafael Leao, who's coming back from injury. He's got even Santi Jimenez. Like, they've got options, Milan. And so, yeah, I wouldn't put it past them getting another statement win this weekend.
Very good. Graham, what game are you looking forward to seeing this weekend?
So I see Taylor's hipster's pick of FC Porto versus Benfica, and I raise him Club Brugge versus Union Saint-Gilloise in the Belgian Pro League this weekend. A top-of-the-table clash. Two teams who are really quite good at the moment, and I know they both lost in the Champions League during the week. During the week, that was this week. But that was against a good Newcastle team, and then Club Brugge really took it to Atalanta away from home and were unfortunate to lose that game. And Belgian league football as a whole is really interesting right now. The thing that they are doing better than anyone else in Europe at this moment in time is scouting, right? So I read an article in the summer window, players from 30 different countries were signed by Belgian clubs in the summer, which was more than any other European league. It was 22 different nationalities in January as well. And these clubs are casting their net far and wide because Belgian, like the youth players, tend to leave that country a lot, like really early. Eden Hazard didn't play for very long in Belgium. Lukaku has a single or two seasons at Anderlecht. So they've had to look elsewhere. And these two clubs, Club Brugge and Union, are the epitome of this. And Union, they're owned by Tony Bloom. They use the same model that Brighton use. They use the same analytics company, Jamestown Analytics. they make signings from all over the place. Estonia, Slovenia, the English lower leagues, Scandinavia. There's 18 different nationalities in their squad of 25 players. Promise David is one of the best examples of their model. He was signed from a club in Estonia just over a year ago. He's a Canadian international now. They took 70 million euros in transfer fees this summer, and they'll sell more young players next summer. Ferry Lyson has been linked with Bournemouth, this 21-year-old young defender, I think he is. And Club Brugge have a similar model as well. Not quite as eclectic in terms of the number of nationalities, but Christos Solis is a star. He's going to join a big Premier League club soon. I think Spurs were linked with him in the summer. Rafael Onyedika is another quality player in central midfield. So both of these clubs are really modern on and off the field. They play attack-minded, front-foot soccer. I think there's a chance both of them progress in the league phase, the phasing in the Champions League this season. Union they're already 6 points clear after 9 games. So Bruges, they really do need to close that gap. They're conceding way too many goals at the moment. But I'm definitely paying a bit more attention to Belgian league football now than I have in the past. There's some interesting stuff going on there.
Grim, I love that point. That's really fascinating stuff, and I appreciate you sharing that. I think it's interesting. Belgium are sort of the class of Europe in recruiting in that way, and part of it is because they can afford to be, in a way, right? Think about if you're Brighton in that branch of the multi-club ownership group, you're still going to be quite diverse with your recruiting, but you're not going to go to Estonia. You're not going to go to... you're going to recruit from Belgium, who's done a lot of that hard work for you. That's one example. It's a generalized example. But Belgium have sort of become, these really savvy clubs there, have become the gateway for a lot of players to enter the European market, and then at that stage, whether you're in England or whether you're in Germany or wherever, right, you go and let Belgium do some of your hard work for you, and Belgian clubs make a premium off of it, and that's why they want to do the work. But it's fascinating how Belgium's role in the top flight there has developed in the sort of structure of European soccer and global soccer, and how those recruiting pathways work. I love that you spotlighted that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, very good stuff. Listener, you can watch the Belgian Pro League on DAZN. Remember that Club World Cup app that we fired up over the summer? Fire it back up, baby, if you want to see Club Brugge against Union Saint-Gilloise this weekend. Wonderful. Joe, that leaves us with your pick for the weekend.
I'm racking my brain trying to remember who took Union Saint-Gilloise in the trophy draft that we did back before the season started. I cannot remember who it was. I don't think it was me. I really wish it was. Ryan thinks it's him. I hope so, Ryan, because you do deserve props for that. My pick for this weekend is a supporter shield deciding game in Major League Soccer. It's the Philadelphia Union up against New York City FC. This game will be on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Apple TV on Saturday. This is all that's left for Philadelphia between them and the Shield. If they win this game, they'll have another chance. If they don't, if they win this game, they will clinch the Shield. It's at home. It's at Subaru Park. They've lost Quinn Sullivan after his ACL tear against DC United. DC, did you need to take that from us? Really? I don't think that needed to happen. You've taken enough of our joy in 2025. Quinn Sullivan will be out, but I think they have the depth, as we talked about earlier this week, Taylor, to go out there and still get the job done. But NYCFC are a really good team, a sneaky good team this year under Pascal Janssen. They've recently lost their chief soccer officer in David Lee. That will not have ramifications on this game, but it is something to watch in the future for NYCFC. We'll talk more about that next week. But these are two very, very good teams, and I'm curious to see how they end up matching up. NYCFC have been more defensive maybe than we would expect of a City Football Group sort of team this year. Philadelphia have the quality to break down a defensive team, but it is not their top strength, where they would much rather have the game be combative and play in transition. So I think that does make for an interesting tactical battle in this game between Bradley Carnell and Pascal Janssen, and how these teams match up on the field. It also sort of points me to raising this question to you all, because I've been the Supporter Shield truther on this show. I want to know, and Ryan, we'll start with you since you have some MLS ties that you've adopted somewhat recently. Would you rather Charlotte FC win the Shield or win MLS Cup? And I want you to explain your reasoning either way.
MLS Cup.
Go on.
I feel like that will live longer in the history books than a Supporter Shield. Even though a Supporter Shield, obviously, I'm aware of the graft that
Sure.
requires, and it is a better representation of you as a team. I think ultimately, in 10 years, it'll be the MLS Cup winners who remember, not the Supporter Shield winners. Make sense?
Yeah, I think that's super fair. Taylor, do you fall in that same category?
100%. And especially, I think the other aspect for me is that, like, you have teams that are just targeting finding the right form and the right combination to get into the playoffs, to then like have it all click and do really well. And I think it really hurts the argument that the Supporter Shield is the thing that matters when there are teams that are just like, yeah, we're still figuring it out. We'll be fine. We just need to get in the playoffs, and then the playoffs are when it truly matters. I think when you have teams with that identity, it makes it hard to go the other way.
Graham, are you making it 3 for 3?
I am, but I almost treat them as two different things. I almost think of MLS Cup as like MLS's Champions League, where I can't make a rational argument that the team that wins that is like the best team. The Shield is probably a better representation of that. But the Cup just feels bigger, right? Like the games just feel bigger. It feels like there's more riding on them, similar to the Champions League. So I accept the merits of both, but if I had to pick one, I'd win the Cup.
Yeah, and I think ultimately where I agree with you guys is that winning MLS Cup is more fun because there's more build up to it, there's more pageantry, and I think that would be a moment that I would remember longer than we won the Shield in October 4th against NYCFC at our home stadium, and nobody outside of Philadelphia really was watching. I think that would be a difference there for me, but I do think, and you said it, Ryan, the Philadelphia Union, if they win the Shield, that is the representation of them as the best team who have given their fans the most enjoyable winning soccer to watch. Winning, probably doing more heavy lifting there than enjoyable throughout this entire season. And I do want to make sure that I at least give credit to that. So maybe the Union win that this weekend, maybe they don't. Maybe 38-year-old Maxi Morales stands in their way. We'll see what that ends up looking like. But I am very excited to watch that game on Saturday. Real implications.
There we go. That game's 7:30 Eastern on Saturday. Thank you very much, Joe. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're reacting to that USMNT roster that dropped on Thursday. Join us then. Total Soccer Show, welcome back to the Weekender. Just as we were wrapping up recording Thursday's show, the USMNT roster dropped. So let's have a little chat about it, shall we? Why don't we start off with a chat about the goalkeeper position? Jonathan Clitz. Oh, no, Jonathan. No, he's not there. Okay. Chris Brady,
Pouring
Matt
salt
Freese.
in the wounds, right?
No, I'm so sorry. But we do, Taylor, have Chris Brady, Matt Freese, Patrick Schulte, and Matt Turner. Nothing unexpected there?
Not really. I guess maybe Graham was wondering if maybe Schulte might be injured.
Yeah, I thought Schulte was injured. Obviously, has had injury this year, and then had either didn't play one or two games. Certainly didn't play at the weekend. So I thought that he was still recovering from that. So slightly surprised to see him, but otherwise not really.
Here's my question. I remember Joe specifically shouting out Chris Brady prior to recording. Joe, you didn't select him though, and here he is.
No.
Regrets?
I do have regrets, major regrets, because I lost our draft that we did. It's a tie between you and Graham, so now at least you guys have to figure out all the math stuff, so maybe I am the real winner, because I'm not going to do any of that. But I do think Brady was a possible selection because he has been in camp under Pochettino before, and we know that Poch said ahead of this window that he didn't really want to look at any new players. Spoiler alert, James Sands is the only new player in this roster that Poch hasn't already had in camp, so mostly stuck to his word there. But the goalkeeper position, really the only thing that surprised me here is that Matt Freese is here. I think that signals that his head injury is not serious, almost certainly not concussed. But we'll see what that ends up looking like in terms of his minutes in this camp.
All right. Joe, centre-back groupings. We've got Cameron Carter-Vickers, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, and Miles Robinson. How about that?
Yeah, sort of a crapshoot after Ream and Richards, huh? I mean, I'm happy that Graham gets his moment in this camp with CCV.
It's still not a point for the draft. I did not go for CCV. Regretting that now.
It's a tough look, Graham. Undoubtedly a tough look. The two center backs that were here along with Richards and Ream in the September window were Noah Kai Banks and Tristan Blackman. Blackman is injured. No Banks for this camp. So it's just been a rotating group after Ream and Richards, effectively. So in this, it's CCV, McKenzie, and Robinson, as you just listed, Ryan. Behind those two, it sure seems like Ream and Richards are the go-to pairing for Pochettino, who, again, is mostly done experimenting. Just the one new player coming in for this camp. Those guys, I would be pretty surprised at this point if they're not starting the opening game at the World Cup.
Okay, Graham, let's talk about the fullbacks. Max Arston, so handsome. Alex Freeman's in there as well. And Anthony Robinson gets the call.
Yeah, I think we were all a little bit nervy about Jedi maybe not being included in this roster. Obviously not a comment on his quality, just rather the fact that he's not playing a whole bunch for Fulham right now. I think Marco Silva was talking about this, it was either before the game at the weekend or afterwards. He was saying that his recovery has been a little bit slower than Fulham had hoped for. Only played 10 minutes, I think, at the weekend against, who did they play the weekend? Aston Villa on the Sunday. So I thought there was a chance, because of course he wasn't included in the last roster, despite the fact he was back playing and training for Fulham. Poch gave him a little bit more time to recover. I thought there was a chance he would do the same again here. I think it's unlikely that he will start both games. He might not play a whole lot actually over the two games, just not to rush him back. But good to see him there. I think the US is clearly better off with him.
Yeah, fantastic. Very good. Central midfield group, Taylor. Weston McKennie, Vibesman, is in. Aidan Morris is also there. Christian Roldan. And as mentioned, James Sands getting a call up here. And Tanner Tessman. Ooh.
I feel like we got a lot of what we wanted out of this midfield. We do not get Tyler Adams, which we alluded to during the draft. His wife expecting their second child, I think, and so he, it sounds like, requested to basically be allowed to stay to be with her, which I think is totally understandable. Even if I'm sure there are going to be corners of the internet that are going to be furious by this choice. You have to prioritize a friendly versus the birth of your child. But we get James Sands, which makes me very happy. We get Aiden Morris, which makes me happy, not just because I selected them, but because I think it shows that Poch is still, if not experimenting, open to players who are in form and playing well for their clubs at whatever level, coming in and seeing what they can do for the team. But then we get Weston McKennie back. We get Malik Tillman in there. We get Roldan. Love it. It's going to annoy some people as well, but that makes me very happy. And Brendan Aronson. I don't know how we missed on so many players when we picked 30 on a 23-player roster or 24, but here we are.
I just thought there was no chance that he was going to be in this roster because I don't think he's playing well for Leeds. In fact, I saw an article. This is harsh. I saw an article for Leeds United Live over the weekend about how he's the most hated Leeds United player for years or something. So
wow.
I don't think he deserves that. But he's not performing that well for Leeds this season. So
why would they make that article, by the way? What purpose does that
of
serve?
course.
To be fair, we are talking about it right now.
You wrote it, Ryan. You tell us.
I did. It's true.
But I didn't forget about Brendan Aronson. I just thought there was no chance he was going to be in this roster. So I am surprised about him being there. Pleased to see Tanner Tessman in here. I said this on last week's show. It would have been bizarre if he wasn't picked, considering the level he's playing at currently for Lyon. And James Sands as well, a player that I've come back and forth on. Was not very good for Rangers, where I watched them week in, week out, but has clearly found something in Germany. And a player who kind of makes, not a mockery, that's a little bit too strong, but when Poch says he's not experimenting anymore, I understand the point he's making. He's not bringing in players for the sake of it. But if there's a player who is performing in a top 5 European league who emerges out of nowhere to become an important player in that league, of course they're coming into the squad. I'm not saying Sands is quite at that level where he moves the needle or anything, but we talk about him as being the one experimental player. There is still scope for players between now and the start of the World Cup to make their way into this roster. It just kind of depends on their club performances. Yeah,
it is good to see Sands. It's good to see Tessman. It's good to see Morris in this group. It's notable that we won't see all of those guys. You'd have to imagine when the full roster is available. No Adams, as we said. Johnny Cardoso, of course, still out injured. We don't really know how Poch feels about Cardoso in the first place. I think there are some really notable absences in this group, especially when it comes to Musa, which has already been mentioned. But Musa, Scally, and spoiler alert, Josh Sargent, none of those made this cut. Those are the three relevant non-injury-related European-based absences. There are other MLS absences. No Jack McGlynn, no Seb Berhalter, no Luca De La Torre, all in this midfield group. I don't know if those are something to read into or not, because Poch did say that he was going to be a little more lenient when it came to MLS call-ups for this window, so maybe we'll wait and see on that a little bit more. I do suspect, though, that those players are probably not going to be lined up for the World Cup. Maybe McGlynn is an exception there for reasons we've talked about recently on the feed, because he can do special stuff. But Scally, Musa, and Sargent not being in this camp, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty much the end of the pursuit of that World Cup roster.
Particularly with Scally, right? Because he's, by all accounts, is playing well right now, is a key figure for a bad Gladbach team, but nonetheless he's a key figure in the Bundesliga, and if he's not getting into the squad now, I don't know when he ever is, particularly with Serginho Dest out injured right now. Go on, Joe.
Well, I was just going to say, to be clear, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I would prefer to see Musa in this squad than not. It's not like he's been so good for club or country that you have to have him in this team. I'm totally fine with Scally not being part of this team, and same with Sargent. We've done a lot of criticizing of Pochettino, and I think a lot of it's been warranted because he's taken weird laps around this player pool and picked guys that I wouldn't have picked and things that I just disagree with. But it does look like when we see Weston McKennie back in this team, it looks like he's just pretty much going to go with the roster that we all thought he would, or at least the starting group of the first 15, 18 players that we thought when he took over. He's just done it in an extremely circuitous way. So I still don't agree with how he's gone about this process, although my outside perspective is different for sure. But I think we're going to see a lot of the guys that we all kind of thought we were.
Okay. Just to round out the rest of the selections here, Joe, from attacking midfield forward, the least popular man in Leeds we already mentioned. Diego Luna also here, Malik Tillman, Pulisic, Alex Zendejas, Tim Weah. And for the forwards, Haji Wright, Patrick Agyemang, and Florent Balogun. Yeah, there we go.
Told you with Big Pat. I told you that he was going to be in this camp. There was no doubt in my mind about that whatsoever. There's a ton of these little half space guys. I think about Aronson, Luna, Tillman, Pulisic, Zendejas, Weah, and Wright. That's 7 dudes who all primarily play in the half spaces. I know Haji Wright's played striker. I know Pulisic has too. They have almost exclusively played in those positions for the U.S. and still largely play there with their clubs. I know Tillman's played a little deeper in central midfield at times. Maybe that means we could see Poch try him in a double pivot or something along those lines in this window. I don't know, but I cannot imagine that all these...
1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1.
That's what I'm hearing as well.
Just me?
No,
That's
I'm on
fine.
board.
It worked
That's
against
what I'm
Japan. It worked against Japan, so I don't have any issue with that. Like, that is very possible. I just don't think it's possible that we see all of these dudes on a World Cup roster. This, to me, feels like, in addition to the 4 goalkeepers, these 2 position groups feel like the area where you're going to trim the fat. You probably drop one of these guys to get another maybe pure forward on the field if Pepe was healthy, and you probably change some things out in the goalkeeper pool to get an extra fullback in this group. But the forwards are fine. Aronson, I don't think is good, so I probably wouldn't have called him up. But otherwise, like
He
I
wrote
think,
the article.
I think the rest. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't get
Joe
get
leads
credited
live
with that.
Lowry.
Low Jowry.
Otherwise, this is a reasonable selection group, and I don't think you can take a ton of issue with it overall.
There we go. Who are the wide players in the 3-4-2-1?
Like in terms of your wingbacks,
Yeah.
I would say maybe it's Arston and maybe Tim Weah, maybe it's Alex Freeman. But I think if you go Weah as your right wing back, that lets you have Tillman and Pulisic as your kind of more advanced in the 3-4-2-1. They'd be the 2.
Lots of possibilities. Yeah, I don't know exactly what this lineup's going to look like, to be honest. I think there are a lot of questions about how this looks, and we can talk about that more next week. But it's a good squad. Like this is a fine squad. There's a bunch of injuries, so it's still not like this is not Poch's World Cup squad. To be very, very clear, I think that is so obvious here. But we are inching closer to ruling players out of World Cup contention, and it seems like players are going to have one more opportunity here to make their case, even while some of the injuries happen around the edges.
And I'll say, like, I agree with Joe largely about, like, the circuitous nature of the roster construction. At the same time, like, Christian Roldan being in this team is because he came in and looked really solid for this team last time and was a key player in what he was asked to do. And I think you stumble upon those players that can make your team better, even if they're not going to be starters or superstars. If they're going to come in and do the job you need them to do for 15 or 20 minutes or become a last-minute starter because somebody's hurt, I think that's the kind of familiarity you need with the team. So I see somebody like him being included as a positive, even if I'm assuming my friends who casually watch the USMNT are going to be very annoyed that he's here.
Sorry, I know we need to take a break. Tom has just reported that Jack McGlynn's out for the season with a foot injury, so that is why he is not in this roster. He was supposed to be, but was dropped because of that injury.
Foot injury. Sounds too vague. Not medical enough. What
Yeah.
part of the foot, Joe?
Metatarsal.
Hurt foot.
Yeah. I demand
Foot
toe,
boo-boo.
metatarsal. Not just ouchie on end of leg, which is
Also,
what we've got there.
Houston, they're on the bubble, right? Houston are like...
Yeah, they're on the bubble.
So the
Bad news
end
for
of
them.
the season could be like a month.
Yeah, true.
But-
That's a good point.
But, yeah.
There we go. All right, plenty more USMNT chat coming on the feed as we head into this next international window. But for now, we take a break. When we come back, quiz time. Total Soccer Show. Welcome back to the Weekender. Hey, guys. Quizmaster's here. His name's Taylor Rockwell.
Oh, boy. Hello. I'm excited. I've tried to keep it a little tighter this week. Fewer questions, but they're all kind of nonsense. So I hope you all are prepared.
What a tee up.
I mean, they get more straightforward, but let me put it this way. There are more with like specific answers that you all might not have, but I think it's going to make it fun. We'll find out. We're going to start with bottom of the table, Borussia Mönchengladbach. They host 8th placed Freiburg this weekend. Gladbach thus far have conceded 12 goals in their first 5 games. If we extrapolate that out, it's around 81 goals against for the season, if you make it for the entire season. How much worse of a record would that be than their worst ever season when they finished bottom of the table in 2007? AKA, how many more goals conceded would that 81 be?
Can I go
We're going to
first?
go closest to the number, straight up.
Can I go first?
Yes, Joe.
I'm going to say that would be 24 goals worse than
Okay.
the last worst time. Nailed it.
Okay.
Graham?
I'm going to say, trick question, 10 goals better.
Oh, cheeky.
All right. All right. And Ryan?
0.
I think Ryan gets it just barely. 11 goals. It would be 11 goals worse. In
Devastating.
2007, they conceded 70 goals in 34 league games. So 81 would be
That's
a little bit worse.
That's a lot, by the way.
Seems a lot.
Yes.
Just for context.
Here we go. Staying in Germany. Second, by the way, Graham, I'm coming to you first for this one, so go ahead and buckle up. Staying in Germany, second place Dortmund host third place RB Leipzig, and the Yellow Wall will no doubt be loud and rowdy. But let's say they did need an energy boost at halftime. If each person in the south stand of Signal Iduna Park consumed one 12-ounce can of Red Bull, how many gallons in total would be consumed? Would you prefer if I gave you a multiple choice option here?
Yes, please, because gallons, I have no clue, like fluid ounces.
That's
maybe,
why I did
but,
it. You're welcome.
Oh, because hang on, UK gallons are different to US gallons as well. That's
I don't
complicated.
know, whatever. I did whatever Google did the calculations on for me. Thank you, Google. All right, your options, Graham. Would it be around 1,300 gallons of Red Bull if every person in the Yellow Wall had one can of Red Bull? Would it be around 2,300 gallons, around 3,300 gallons, or around 4,300 gallons? The choice is yours, Mr. Ruthven.
3,300 gallons of Red Bull, which is about my weekly consumption of that particular energy drink.
On a
brand.
light week.
Yeah.
Ryan, for you?
I think there's about 12,000 people in the Gelbwald.
In the what?
Gelbwand?
Is that
Yellow
It's a
Wall?
family show.
Now, I will stress for you, this is a Bundesliga match, and I will leave
It's
it there.
definitely more than that.
So
12,000.
there's more. Okay. Oh, okay. Because I know Tottenham, they had the
I'll
biggest
say this because I don't
freestanding-
think this will help you at all. I think there's like 30,000 people in the Yellow Wall. Like, it's a big stand.
I'm going to say it's closer to 18,000 then. And, sorry, can you give me the three options, Taylor? The gallons.
A lot of time to work
1,300
out something that's not that relevant.
1,300 gallons, 2,300 gallons, 3,300 gallons, 4,300 gallons.
4,300.
And Joe?
What did Graham guess?
33.
3,300.
I'll say 23.
Joe gets the point.
Yeah,
2,300
baby.
gallons. That comes out to it is the attendance for a Bundesliga game because you can fit in more. I think Ryan is correct for like Champions League games. It's closer to that number. For Bundesliga, it's 24,454. Wow. 12-ounce can means just under 300,000 ounces divided by 128 gives you 2,292.6 gallons. Well done, Joe Lowery. Point
Which
for
is,
Joe.
Thank you.
That's what Jamie Carragher drank.
I was
in
waiting
beer
for it.
when he.
Well
All
done.
right. Now we go into some more specific ones and less theoretical Red Bull math. Okay. Chelsea are home to Liverpool this weekend, and the two clubs have plenty of shared history. The next three questions will be about this.
Ooh.
Since the year 2000, 10 players have played for both Chelsea and Liverpool. Three questions for you. First one, of those 10, only one has played professionally in the United States. Here's a hint for you. It was not in Major League Soccer. So, this player has played for both Chelsea and Liverpool. He has also played in the United States, but not in MLS. Ryan, you are starting us off as a mystery person comes into your office.
What's the question? Is it to name the player?
Yeah.
Name the player.
Yeah, name the player. 10 players, both played for Chelsea and Liverpool.
Ryan,
one
your
played in
attention
America,
to
not
detail
MLS.
from the math
No,
of this one is...
So it's a player in USL, presumably, who has played for both of those teams.
At one point, yes.
May not have been USL, might have been NASL.
Oh.
I don't know that, but
Is it someone back in the day?
no, it's
since
2000.
the year
From
2000.
2000.
Oh, gosh. No idea. Fernando Torres.
I think we go to Joe next.
I get all of these mixed up. Can I just say Cole? I'm sure that's still wrong. I just want to say Cole.
I'm going to
covering
need a
my
first
bases.
name from you,
Cole
Joe.
Palmer. Cole Campbell.
Joe Cole.
There it is.
Lumpico.
And Graham Ruthven.
I don't have the answer because I was trying to list off the players, but none of them I think played in America. I'll go with a really left field one who I don't think played in America, but just on the off chance that he did, and I can't remember or didn't know about it. Raul Meireles. Remember him?
I do remember him.
I'm right, aren't I?
He played for a surprisingly few number of teams. I feel like Graham wasn't listening to Joe because Joe Nailed the answer. Well done, Joe.
See,
it's
he
Joe
played
Cole.
at Fort Lauderdale, right?
He played for the
Tampa Bay.
Rowdies, didn't he?
Tampa
yeah.
Bay.
Bay Rowdies.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
Fort
listening, Joe. I
Lauderdale.
don't think I knew that.
Okay,
so
yeah.
there we go.
He was here for a while, and
Yeah.
it was really fun near the later stages of his career when maybe he started to put on a little bit of weight, but was still playing in the Florida Heat, and he looked like he was not having the best time. All right.
I get all my Coles confused, so I do appreciate the half nudge that you gave me there. I was a bit afraid, but thanks for that.
My pleasure. Hey, you got the point, man. Well done to you. Bye, Ryan and Mrs. All right, next player.
Don't mind the
Played for
traffic.
Chelsea and Liverpool. Graham, coming to you first this time. He played for Chelsea and Liverpool a combined 145 times, though you likely only remember him, if you remember him, sorry, Joe, playing mostly for Chelsea. However, he also played for 3 other English clubs, as well as clubs in France, Spain, Turkey, Italy, China, and India. Who is this player, Graham?
Wow.
Played for Chelsea and Liverpool a combined 145 times, but you might have forgotten that he played for one of these teams. He also played for 3 other English clubs, and then played for clubs in France, Spain, Turkey, Italy, China, and India. Not in that order. Graham, who is this player?
What did you say at the start? I'll remember this player more for which team over the other?
Didn't say.
I didn't say.
Chelsea, or did you say?
I did
I thought
not
you
say.
said. Oh, I imagined that.
Oh, no, I did. You're right. You likely remember him playing mostly for Chelsea.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
My bad. Sorry.
That is a good one.
You don't get points for puffing him up, Graham?
If no one gets it, I will. Does anyone feel like they know it?
No. I have a guess, but I'm
through
pretty sure it's
names.
wrong.
All right, then I will tell you this one final hint. He was sad.
He was sad.
Oh, I was definitely wrong.
He was sad. What was that?
Think nicknames.
Oh man, I'm blanking on this one.
All
I
right.
will say, it's not this player. I'll say Daniel Sturridge, but it's not Daniel Sturridge. But there we go.
He was on the list. He was going to come up later, but I changed the question. Ryan.
I can only think of one player that played in India. It was Michael Chopra. Oh, wait! Who scored the ghost goal? No, he didn't play for Chelsea, did he?
But how many gallons
Luis Garcia.
are in...
Was it Luis Garcia was the player I was thinking of, because I think he played in India
he-
too.
All right.
He did. I remember that, but didn't play for Chelsea.
No.
Joe?
I'm guessing Oscar. I know it's wrong. I just know he played in China and he played for Chelsea.
All right. No points for this one. I was wondering if this is how it would go. See, this is why I said it might be a little bit harder this week. I'm going to
is
give you
this?
the clubs in order, and I want to see how
no.
quickly somebody can get it. All right.
Wait,
starting
hold
with
on. Is the
his-
point still on the table?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
You just got to yell his name when you know it.
Okay.
Got it.
PSG, Arsenal, Real Madrid, PSG again, Liverpool on loan.
Anelka. Is it Anelka?
There it is, Nicholas
Oh,
Anelka.
nice.
Le Sulk. That's why I said he was sad.
Of course.
Yes. Then Liverpool on loan from PSG, Manchester City, Fenerbahce.
Bolton.
Oh, that's 4. He played for 4 English clubs. I apologize. It's just the 3.
gotta throw out the
Manchester
question.
City, Fenerbahce, Bolton, Chelsea,
yeah.
Shanghai Shenhua, Juve on loan, West Brom, and Mumbai City. That
Good
is
for him,
a
man.
combination of final clubs.
That is a
there.
career. He was quality as well. Like
got
you would,
some
you would
miles.
think. I don't know who was advising him, but you would think with a career like that,
His
not
wallet.
that good. He was brilliant, Nicholas Anelka. But
Yeah, he was good at all that stuff on the field, right? In the position he played.
Yep.
In the
That's
era
right.
that he played.
Joe.
I think I'm correct in saying part of his like Le Sulk reputation comes from his time in
Le Sulk,
Madrid.
sad, there we go.
Yeah, and I feel like I read this not long ago that like a lot of that had to do with Real Madrid did not have a lot of the infrastructure they have now in terms of like making players feel welcome and helping them find apartments and stuff. And so he was just sort of like in a place he didn't know and nobody really helped him. And I think was instrumental in changing that for a lot of clubs so that there is much more of a like, we'll find you an apartment and show you where to go to the grocery store and whatnot. So
What a trailblazer.
maybe less sad nowadays. All right, here you go. Mohamed Salah has the most combined appearances for the two clubs with over 300 games to date. The majority of those for Liverpool, obviously. Which is the higher number? The number of goals scored by Salah for those two teams, or the number of total appearances for those two clubs by Fernando Torres? So, does Mohamed Salah have more goals for those two teams than Fernando Torres had appearances for Liverpool and Chelsea combined? I think it is Ryan this time. Ryan, why don't you go
Yes,
first?
he does. More goals.
All right. Joe?
I think the same. I'm going Salah.
Graham?
Feels like no. Like, are we talking league games or total games? Or
We're going with what Wikipedia lists as their numbers.
So that's league games. Oh, that changes it a little bit. For the sake of variety, I'll stick with Torres has more games than Salah's got goals.
Point for Graham.
Yes.
This is where it was going to be Sturridge because he has more goals than Sturridge had appearances. But Torres, 212 appearances, 102 for Liverpool, 110 for Chelsea. Salah has 188 goals in total. Okay.
Man, close.
So we're going to go away from some player-specific ones and go back to the nonsense. Top of the table AC Milan. Well, this isn't that nonsense. Top of the table AC Milan travel to fourth place Juventus in a game already being described as happening this weekend, to steal a line from Mitchell and Webb. Weston McKennie and Christian Pulisic will hopefully both take part, but others have gone before them. How many total Americans have bet on the books for either Milan or Juventus? You can add them together. It doesn't have to be they play for both. Just how many Americans have been employed by Milan and Juventus in total?
Including those two.
Including those two. I'm giving you two.
Are we just?
I almost said I'm giving you two
of
of the, and then said the number. That would have been bad. Yes, I just need. You don't need to give me the names. You can if you wish. But since Ryan started last time, it should be Joe. But I feel like I want to give Joe time. Graham is still mentally counting. Ryan is just going to say a number, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What you got, Ryan?
Well, it was 4 last season. So it's at least 4. That's as far as I've got with the deductions. I will say 7.
All right. Joe?
All right. Well, I'll toss out some ones that we know for sure. Obviously, McKennie and Pulisic are there now. Graham surely has the Musa one in his bag, and he surely has the Weah one in his bag. So there's 4. I know for sure there's at least one more, which Graham may or may not have. I assume he does. There might be one more still, and there might even be more than that. So I'm going to hedge and say 6. All time, the answer is 6.
I can only think of one more. I've got to be honest.
Graham?
I'll go for 5.
Okay. Who is the one more you could think of?
Is it
Ryan?
Gooch?
Oh, yes.
Aguchi and Yewu?
There might be more than 6, but
5.
there's at least 6.
Here is the one that I totally forgot about. Joe, who did I forget
Dest.
about?
Oh.
Serginho Dest.
Oh,
Played for
damn.
AC Milan.
He barely played.
There it
Damn
is.
it.
6 is correct. Well done,
Yay.
Joe.
Nice.
I was like, it's 5. There's no point in asking. It's 6? What now? And that's why it's a question. All right.
Was it at Milan where he had the fight with Zlatan, Gooch, as well?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it must have
yes.
been, yeah.
And there was some kicking happening. Yes. All right. I believe this is the final question unless we need a tiebreaker. Louisville City are the best team in the USL Championship at present, 8 points ahead of second place Charleston in the Eastern Conference. However, they are not the greatest thing to come out of the city of Louisville, which is also home to bourbon, horse racing, and which athlete who is generally considered to be one of the best and most important athletes in history. This is not a trick question. This is not even of opinion. This is like a general, if you did a poll of like, who are the greatest athletes of the last 100 years, he is going to be at the very least in the top 5.
Oh, so it's a he.
Or was that a trick?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Does anyone feel like they know?
No.
Okay. Then I will give you this hint. I will take either of his names, though he definitely would prefer that you go with the more famous name.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
As in, he had a very famous name change.
Oh.
Graham, you want to go first this time? Or do you want
Graham's
to finish
typing.
Googling
Someone's
first?
typing.
I was going to name
always Graham.
someone else until that last clue. So, Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's my guess as well.
Has to be
Ryan?
that. It's either him or Chad Ochocinco, so I'm going to go with Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali is correct. Yes.
Yay.
Born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky.
I didn't realize that. I was trying to do a baseball tie because I know the baseball bats are a big thing in Louisville.
Yep.
But I couldn't think of who that
slugger.
would be. Yeah, the old slugger. Ali's a different sort of slugger now, isn't he?
A little bit. Yeah. So, okay. Muhammad Ali, everybody gets the point there. So where are we on points?
2.
I finished with
3.
4.
Joe gets the win. We don't have to go into U.S. geography. We'll save that one for next week. Congratulations, Joe.
Hey, thanks very much.
good.
That was fun, guys. I enjoyed this.
That was a good quiz. I feel like using the imperial measurement system for liquids really threw us off for the.
Well,
Red Bull
otherwise we
question.
all would have known that. Of
100%.
course.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
We all have very good estimates of the 24,000 who would be in that stand.
Yeah. Nailed
Probably
it.
not drinking Red Bull, I would argue, also.
No?
No, they're monster crowd.
They would.
Yeah.
I think the Leipzig fans might be, but not in that stand.
They drink Monster Energy at Dortmund?
I think
Well,
they
just
drink
because
beer.
it's not Red Bull, they drink beer. I think.
Yeah.
When
The
I-
premise of the question was if they needed an energy bump, and I would guess that means
Uh-huh.
they're usually doing coffee.
There's probably something else they would
something
do.
else. No one
Was that a Bayern game where the guy was caught?
could have been any game right now anywhere in Europe.
Yeah.
I
But
think.
do you remember the one where they like cut to a guy like in the stands who was clearly like,
Vaguely,
"Hey!"
yeah.
it was very like, "Hey, someone's in trouble for that one."
Yeah.
There we go. All right, Taylor, thank you very much for your quiz. That was wonderful. I hope everyone at home had fun playing along as well. Good job, listener. We hope you enjoy your weekend. Taylor Rockwell, once again, thank you very much for your quizzing and all of your contributions to this here Weekender.
My pleasure, my friend.
Graham Ruthven, pleasure as always, my good man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan Bailey.
And Joe, good job. Quiz winner this week. Good job. Well
Hey,
done.
thanks. Even a blind squirrel gets a few nuts, you know?
That's the saying. Good. Listener, thank you very much for joining us on this episode. You have yourself a wonderful weekend. Hey, look out on Saturday for our listener questions episode. That's going to be dropping then. We'll see you otherwise next week. Bye!